Okay, can't I take any serious? What? I can't take it. I was trying to say I can't take anything seriously. Hi, I'm Ariel. You're watching She Wants the Diction, and this is going to be another episode of recent reads because apparently people actually like this shit, so I'm going to keep doing it. We're filming with the most ghetto setup that you've ever seen, and since I just took a picture of it, I'll insert a picture of what our tripod looks like. Sacrifices were made, okay? So I'm going to start off with books that I have finished, and the first one that I'm going to talk about is called Dictionary Stories. Don't remember the author. I will put a picture. But the point is that basically this guy wrote a bunch of, not even short stories, more like microfiction, using sentences, like example sentences from different dictionaries. Like, he put them together into these little stories, and basically the book was divided into A to Z, and he had stories that like fell under certain words, and I made it probably to about G before I decided to give up. And it's not that it's not a really cool concept, because it totally is, but a lot of the stories were just, some of them were really clever and like funny and witty, and then some of them were just the stupidest thing you've ever seen. Like, it kind of devolved into just lists of items. I really don't know how to better describe it than that. It was just really gimmicky, and I feel like the concept didn't work for an entire book. I just tried to read like one letter a day, and it was still like, I don't know, just too much. So I really like the concept, but I guess I wish they had been more selective about what they chose to put in the book. Although, yeah, amazing concept. Like, it's amazing that he was even able to make a couple stories that were really good out of dictionary sentences. I would feel really weird if I'm just out here yelling to a camera. Okay. The second thing that I finished was volume 2 of Motor Crush, and I was really disappointed by this volume. I loved the first volume, but the second one had like a lot of issues. I felt like there was a time skip of about 2 years where she came back, and then her ex had gotten together with another girl who kind of eerily looked like her, and basically the ex kind of like decided to leave the picture since she felt like they wanted to be together, and then they just got together again. And I was like, but it's been 2 years, but you've had a relationship with this person for 2 years. You know, like, you don't just throw that away, and you don't just like let them walk away. Like, I don't know, it's like, it's 2 years, yo. Like, that's a whole nother like life, I feel like. And as much as I wanted them to get together, like, I was rooting for it, like, yeah, not like that. I just, like, that poor girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then that, okay, and here's the other thing that was stupid. She did this thing where she like cut herself open and then like dripped some of her blood into the gas tank of her like little motorcycle or whatever, so that she could use it to go, because her blood has the crushed stuff in it. And at that point I was just like, I can't anymore. Like, this isn't even sci-fi. This is like, I don't even know what this is. This is just some made up shit. That and the lady with the super long claw hands, I don't know, because she was suspended in the crush or whatever. I was just like, this is too weird. And then the end of it, which, spoilers, so don't spoil yourself, but the end of it is basically she finds out that she was manufactured. So I don't know if that means she was cloned or she's like a robot / android type of thing. And then not only that, but she has sisters. So there are robots that look, or clones or whatever they are, that look exactly like her. And I personally can't stand when there's like long lost family member or sister brother plot. Like, I can't stand that type of plot. So it's like, it was enough to have the one twist where it's like, oh, she's a robot, which you kind of see coming, which would be cool to deal with the fallout of that. But like, 2 things where now she has to deal with all these other people that look exactly like her. Like, I don't know, I'm just out, you know, like, all those things combined to just make me be like, I don't want to read this anymore. So I know that the 3rd volume, I think, comes out this month. I will not be getting it because fuck that shit. The next one I'm going to talk about is Rabbits for Food by Binnie Kirshenbaum. And this is basically about a middle-aged woman who's depressed and gets admitted to the psych ward of this sort of fancy hospital. And I think I'm just going to write a review on my blog of this one. So if you want me to go more in depth, I thought it was all right. A lot of the writing in here is really pretentious, but I did like the main character because she's very like, I don't know, I tend to like unlikable protagonists where they're like very like smart alecky and kind of mean and antisocial. Like, I don't know, I just like that kind of protagonist. So if you guys didn't know, I have a blog, and I've been trying to write reviews on there more. So I will link to that if I actually end up writing it, but if not, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so I started this, which I don't even know if I would count this as a book. It's more of like a fucking, I don't even know what it is. Coffee table book, picture book. Don't know. It's called The Curated Closet. Not going to try to pronounce her name. But the point is, I saw this on Bookie Charms channel and I thought, oh, you know what? I've been having trouble figuring out what to wear just because I feel like I've outgrown so much of the stuff in my closet. Like, okay, like I went through a phase where I was wearing like crop tops all summer, like cut off shorts, like all this like fucking hippie looking dippy shit. And I feel like I went through that phase and like I don't wear any of that shit anymore. And then I went through this phase where I was like, okay, I don't have any basics. I need to buy a bunch of basic stuff. So I got like a black t-shirt, a white t-shirt, a black pair of jeans, a blue pair of jeans, you know, like just super minimal. And then I was like, well, this is boring. So I'm like, I feel like I've never had a consistent thing. Like it's just random ass shit. And I'm like, what the fuck even do I wear? Like I want to be an adult. I want to be mature, but I don't want to be boring. I want to be fun. I don't want to look childish. So I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And also like I shop at thrift stores, so it's like just completely like hit or miss. So I'm like, is it worth it to just invest more money into pieces that you're actually going to wear all the time? Or should you just stick with trying to thrift stuff? What should I thrift? How the fuck does this shit go together? Like I've never really been good at fashion. I just like wearing ridiculous pieces that I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Like, you know, I don't know, like I don't know what I'm doing. So I was hoping that this could like give me some insight, but honestly, like, I don't know. The first thing you have to do is like track all your outfits for like 2 weeks. You're supposed to write down everything that you wear and like all this shit about it. And I mean, I've kind of been doing it, not nearly as hardcore as this book tells you to do, but just writing down like when I actually do wear an outfit. Because let's be real, if you're not wearing freaking work uniform or pajamas / loungewear, I mean, what are you wearing? What's the point? You know, like it's kind of like, what's the point? No one's seeing me, you know, like, I don't know, maybe that's a terrible mindset, but I don't leave home. So you know what? I don't need outfits. So the point is I've kind of been doing that, and then that's the point where I've stopped. So I've only been doing that for a week because obviously I can only have this for 2 weeks. So I think the next step is you're supposed to figure out like what ideally you would wear or what you like, which involves the typical shit like, oh, make a freaking style board, make an inspiration board, some shit like that. And I'm just like really dreading that because I feel like it's going to be stupid as fuck. Like, because I like a lot of different shit that I feel like I've never put onto my body. And I just feel like it's not going to work. But you know what? I'm going to try it because your girl is desperate. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 25. Shit's not working the way it used to. Okay, I'm going to move on to Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me. I'm about 2/3 of the way through this. And so he is a writer, or was a writer for The Atlantic, which I don't read regularly or anything, but I do think the writing of their like articles and stuff is really good. And I always, if I'm ever on the website, I feel like I always see at least one interesting article that like I want to read. So far, all that's really happened is that he went to college, had his view of the world expanded. He kind of grew up in a hood. It was not a very nice place. Like he dealt with violence and just street gangs and that kind of stuff from a young age. And then he grew up and went to Howard and kind of saw like the spectrum of diversity as far as like blackness goes, and kind of grew up just constantly reading, really identifying with like Malcolm X and like the fact that people were constantly telling him and black people to be nonviolent, even though all this violent stuff was constantly happening to them, but basically telling them to just turn the other cheek and all this other shit. And so I'm at the point where one of his friends, who's like one of the people that he knew in college, was basically a model fucking citizen, like above and beyond a good person, got shot by a cop. So he's kind of like talking about that and then just like the fallout from that. And that's really as far as I made it. This is in the format of a letter addressed to like his teenage son, I believe. So, and I kind of forget that, you know, honestly, based on his writing, until he says something like, your uncle, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's writing this to his son. This is kind of weird though. Like, is his son going to like grow up and read this? Or is it like, he already read it? Like, I don't know if there's going to be like, is his son say something at the end? Like, did he just pose it under the guise of writing to his son, but it's really just a book? Like both? I don't know. It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm like eavesdropping, but I kind of forget that I'm eavesdropping. I don't know what to say. It's really good though. So last thing I finally got my hands on, I Wish You All the Best, and I'm super hyped because I already read like the first 2 chapters of this, and it's amazing. This kid named Ben comes out as being non-binary and gets kicked out, and I can already tell you based on like the first few chapters, I'm like, this shit's gonna be good, because I feel like all the books that deal with being gay as far as like YA literature, they don't really go there as far as like going hard with it. Like it's like cute little shit, like they fall in love and everything's great. You know, like there might be like someone calls them a name, but it's not like anything as drastic as like getting kicked out of your house. And so just based on like my background of having been kicked out of my house for a very similar thing, which was being bi, I just feel like this book is going to be really good, and I'm really excited to like see where it's going. So that's that. that's everything I'm reading / have read in the past week to a week and a half. Also, I've had one drink. Can you tell? From these hand movements? From these hand movements and probably like the wild way that I've been talking. All right.
One alcoholic spritzer.
One. Oh yeah, what's my outro?
Me.
Yeah, baby. Hit him with the outro, baby.
You've been watching She Wants the Diction. Like, subscribe, and, as always,
Comment?
don't forget to smash that bell icon so that you're notified every time you must know.
Mic
Peace.
drop.